Hi, it's Fee Bendel from VillageTV, and I'm here for the second part of this morning to talk to James Anderson from St. George Business Banking Group. James has been telling us about his early motivation working in a startup organisation, how he was tasked to work many, many hours, as many of us do, and actually get involved in every part of the business. From there, James, you went into what is a considerably large organisation with an awful lot of structure. How did you cope from going from a dynamic startup where you were doing everything and in a very entrepreneurial environment into a large organisation?
It was a bit of a shock to the system to start with, as I'm sure everyone can imagine. However, the person I was working for at the time was been a very important mentor, even to today.
Can you tell me who they are?
So Rebecca Warren was the person
Right.
I worked for back then, and she actually hired me with no banking experience into a relatively senior marketing role where I had significant budget, but she was great at seeing the capability rather than looking for just what a resume outcome.
Tick boxes, yeah.
Exactly. So, and she'd had a banking background as an actual banker, so coming into marketing with a marketing qualification, so worked really well because we had very complementary skill sets. But certainly some challenges coming into that world. Coming from a small business where we had a lot of freedom, so anything we wanted to do, we just decided on doing it, and then that's what was done. So we were then in execution mode. Coming to a large organisation, and when suddenly there was processes and procedures. But I think that small business approach teaches you the importance of outcomes and holding yourself to those outcomes and finding the reward in delivering them as quickly as you can. So that drive helped, right? So you come into a large organisation, you're a little bit more ruthless on finding ways to get those outcomes happening more quickly, which is then the importance of influencing. And influencing is a skill that, I think you're forced to learn in large organisations, but I actually think is a really important skill.
Certainly, I think influencing is a hugely important skill, because I was about to say you come from this passionate area and it's very hard to contain that passion in a focused way in a large organisation to fit with their processes, right? I mean, it's
I actually disagree. So,
really? Good.
Yeah, so I am a passionate person, right? But I actually haven't found a big organisation constrain that. I mean, you can fall into the pigeonhole box of what a professional banker looks like, but I don't think that's what people want these days either. People want someone that's going to be a bit inspiring and challenge them and pump everyone up to achieve better outcomes.
Now, St. George obviously is owned by, its parent Westpac, but in terms of, do you think as a challenger brand it's helped you be able to make that transition from a small business environment into still being able to be quite creative within the structure of quite a large giant?
Look, in reality, for the business, it hasn't really made a big difference.
What, the Westpac?
The Westpac piece?
Right,
no, not really. So I was actually on the project team, the merger project team for a while. So so I worked quite closely on some of the aspects of, and obviously it was quite a large piece of work, but particularly on the customer and business side. But the brands still operate and compete against each other. So, whilst we do have some joint capability that we would use, which obviously makes sense, we still absolutely, compete. And while we try and, leverage each other's learnings, there's still absolutely an element of we want to be individuals, and we are an individual brand executing in an individual way. So that's actually really important to us, and we hold on to that.
And so do you think you have more fun in St. George?
I think we have a great time. We have a really, really great group of people we work for. I work for Chris Green, and him and I bounce off each other really well. And quite complementary skill sets. So, Stuart Zalanato, who leads the business, really passionate guy as well. So we've got a really strong leadership team. We've actually just bringing in some capability across the group to really try and grow that and bring some capacity into our team to make sure that we can spend even more time, I guess, out with customers, which is what we all love doing, to try and learn and drive new outcomes and find new ways to connect.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to actually bring you back in after a cup of coffee. I'd just like to explore what you think is important to a small business and how you think the St. George brand can deliver to that need compared to, say, maybe some other banking brands out there. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Perfect. We'll be back in a little while. Thank you very much indeed.